Let's be straightforward about how most of us handle grass clippings and kitchen scraps. It usually starts sometime in early spring or late autumn. You drag out a plastic bin or a wooden crate from the shed. You spend a weekend throwing everything in: vegetable peels, coffee grounds, grass trimmings, banana skins, cardboard torn into rough pieces. You layer it all in there, feeling incredibly responsible. You look at that bin overflowing with organic material, and you think by midsummer that is going to be rich, dark, beautiful garden soil. You trust the system. You trust what the gardening blogs told you. Then 3 months pass. You open the lid expecting transformation, and what do you actually find? You find a soggy, compressed mass sitting at the bottom. The banana peels are still recognizable. The cardboard has turned into a wet gray slab. There is a faint smell of something gone wrong, something sour and slightly ammonia-like hanging in the air. The volume has dropped, yes, but it has not become soil. It has become a problem. This is where most home composters quietly give up. They decide they are simply not cut out for this. They start bagging their organic waste again and rolling it to the curb, watching it disappear into a truck, feeling a vague guilt about it. I want you to understand something clearly. You did not fail. The bin did not fail. The method failed you. What you were given was incomplete instructions dressed up as wisdom. Here is what most guides never explain. A compost pile is not a storage container. It is a living biological reactor. And like any reactor, it requires very specific conditions to run. When those conditions are absent, the reaction does not slow down. It stops entirely. What most people build when they follow standard composting advice is essentially a cold, anaerobic chamber. They pile materials in, seal or cover the top, and walk away. Rain saturates the contents. The weight of the material compresses everything below it. Air, which is the single most critical ingredient in aerobic decomposition, gets pushed out completely. Without oxygen, the bacteria responsible for rapid, hot breakdown cannot survive. A completely different and far less efficient class of microorganisms takes over. These anaerobic bacteria work at temperatures barely above freezing. They produce methane and hydrogen sulfide as byproducts. That is the sour, rotten smell. That is the slime. That is not composting. That is pickling. The result is a system that might, over 2 to 4 years, eventually produce something resembling compost. But it will be slow, it will be unpleasant, and it will be largely useless during the seasons when you actually need fertility. The science here is well established. Research published through university extension programs across North America consistently shows that passively managed cold piles take an average of 18 to 24 months to produce finished compost. Actively managed hot piles using the correct inputs can produce finished compost in 14 to 21 days. That is not a small difference. That is an entirely different process. Det feedet, the questig rebuttet, the questig viulen down, the questing wund. The question is whether anyone ever told you what the correct process actually looks like. To fix this, you have to stop thinking about compost as something that just happens and start thinking about it as something you engineer. Every organic material on Earth has a carbon-to-nitrogen ratio. Carbon is the structural energy, the slow-burning fuel. Nitrogen is the protein, the biological catalyst that allows microorganisms to build their own cell structures, reproduce rapidly, and generate heat. Grass clippings sit at roughly 20 parts carbon to 1 part nitrogen. Straw sits at around 75 to 1. Shredded paper runs close to 150 to 1. Woody branches can reach 500 to 1. The biological sweet spot for rapid hot decomposition is a ratio of approximately 25 to 30 parts carbon for every 1 part nitrogen. That is the zone where microbial populations explode. That is where internal pile temperatures climb to between 55 and 70 degrees Celsius. Those temperatures are hot enough to sterilize weed seeds, destroy fungal pathogens, and accelerate molecular breakdown by a factor of dozens compared to cold passive systems. Most home compost piles fail because they are built entirely from high-carbon materials. Kitchen scraps sound nitrogen-rich, but banana peels, cardboard, and dry bread are overwhelmingly carbon. Without a deliberate and concentrated nitrogen source introduced into the system, the microbial population peaks early, exhausts available protein, crashes, and the pile goes cold and dormant. No amount of turning or watering will restart a pile that is chemically starved. You have to feed it correctly from the beginning. This is the part that transforms an average compost attempt into something that genuinely astonishes people the first time they see it work. Instead of adding dry nitrogen amendments and hoping they distribute evenly through the pile, You dissolve your nitrogen source into water and apply it as a liquid. This approach guarantees direct contact between the nitrogen and the surface of every piece of organic material in the pile. It is the difference between dropping salt crystals onto a steak and marinating it overnight. The penetration and coverage are not comparable. Here is the formula that consistently produces results within 72 hours. For those with access to animal inputs, the high-performance version uses 2 full shovels of fresh chicken manure or aged rabbit droppings dissolved into a standard 20-liter bucket of water. Stir it aggressively for 2 to 3 minutes. The water will turn the color of dark tea. Chicken manure tests at a nitrogen concentration of approximately 3.5% by dry weight, one of the highest available from any organic source. More importantly, fresh manure carries billions of already active gut bacteria per gram. You are not just adding nitrogen. You are seeding the pile with a living starter culture. For those without livestock, the equally effective alternative uses 2 cups of blood meal, which tests at 12 to 13% nitrogen by weight, dissolved into the same 20-liter bucket of water. Blood meal is available at virtually every garden center and is certified organic. Stir until fully suspended. This liquid carries a nitrogen concentration high enough to shift almost any carbon-heavy pile into the correct biological range within a single application. Both formulas work. Both are fully organic. Both cost under $5 to produce in quantities sufficient to treat a substantial pile. Neither requires any specialized equipment, any electricity, or any ongoing purchases. Location is the first decision, and it matters more than most people expect. Place your pile on bare soil, not on concrete, not on a wooden deck, and not on a layer of gravel. The connection to living earth below is not decorative. As the pile heats up, soil organisms, including certain species of actinobacteria and fungal networks, migrate upward into the pile to participate in decomposition. When conditions shift, they retreat back into the ground. Seal that connection, and you cut off an entire biological support system that nature provides for free. Choose a spot roughly 1 meter by 1 meter. Begin with a base layer of your primary organic material approximately 15 centimeters deep. If you are using kitchen scraps, shred or roughly chop anything larger than your fist. Surface area is everything. A whole cabbage leaf resists liquid penetration. The same leaf torn into 8 pieces absorbs the nitrogen solution immediately. Pour your liquid accelerator over this first layer using a watering can or a pitcher. Move in slow arcs to ensure even coverage. Then do something most guides omit entirely. Reach in and manually toss the material. You are trying to coat every piece. Find dry pockets and add liquid. Find saturated clumps and break them apart. Perform the compression test. Take a handful of the mixed material and squeeze firmly. If liquid streams freely between your fingers, add dry carbon material. If the handful crumbles immediately when you open your hand, add more liquid. What you want is a mass that holds its shape loosely and releases only 1 or 2 drops when fully compressed. That specific moisture level maintains the oxygen pockets between particles that aerobic bacteria require to thrive. Build in layers until your pile stands at least 90 centimeters tall. Height is insulation. A pile shorter than that cannot retain the metabolic heat it generates. Cover loosely with a breathable material. By the morning of day 3, place your hand 3 centimeters into the center of the pile. It should feel noticeably hot, not warm, but genuinely hot. Internal temperatures in a properly built pile at this stage routinely reach 60 to 65 degrees Celsius. On day 5, turn the pile completely. Move outer material inward and inner material outward. Water lightly during the turn. Repeat this turn every 2 days. By day 14 to 18, the material will stop reheating regardless of how thoroughly you turn it. This is completion, not failure. The thermophilic phase is finished. Finished compost produced through an active hot process is biologically distinct from material produced by passive cold decomposition. University of California research on compost quality has demonstrated that hot processed compost contains significantly higher populations of beneficial soil microorganisms, retains more plant-available nitrogen, and improves soil water retention more effectively than cold-processed alternatives. What you hold in your hands after 18 to 21 days is dark, almost black, and crumbles with almost no resistance. It carries the smell of forest floor after rainfall. It holds moisture without becoming waterlogged. Applied to vegetable beds at a depth of 5 centimeters, it improves soil structure, feeds soil biology, and provides a slow release of plant-available nutrients across an entire growing season. 1 cubic meter of finished compost produced this way replaces approximately 15 to 20 bags of commercial potting soil. At current retail prices, that represents between $90 and $150 worth of purchased inputs eliminated entirely from your annual garden budget. Beyond the economics, this process closes a loop that industrial agriculture broke decades ago. Organic material that fell on your property, grew on your property, and gathered sunlight above your property returns directly to the soil beneath it. Nothing leaves, nothing is purchased, nothing is wasted. You have built a fertility cycle that requires no infrastructure, no ongoing cost, and no permission from anyone. The pile is waiting. The biology is ready. The only missing ingredient is the decision to begin. Start with one batch. Watch the steam rise on a cold morning. Feel the heat building inside what was yesterday a heap of kitchen scraps and garden trimmings. Once you have seen that happen with your own hands, the idea of bagging organic material and sending it away will seem genuinely strange to you. If this changed the way you see the waste your garden produces every week, subscribe and share the channel. We are rebuilding practical knowledge that modern convenience buried. The next system will be uncovered soon.